Well, hello everyone. This is John DeChico, and this is my first podcast of the new year and the new decade, 2020. I hope you enjoyed what you read in 2019 and all the wonderful podcasts that were on the website of Choice to Lead. I want to share with you that 2020, the beginning of a new era, a new decade, poses many challenges. And I want you to read what I have put below in this cover page. I want to bring on many exciting new things for all of us in 2020. Many more podcasts are going to be lined up, uh, starting with Candy O'Terry. And I think you'll find her history very, very important. You may have heard her name in radio, television, and building teams with some of the brightest and most interesting women who have excelled in leadership. Going into a new millennium, more and more women are going to be entering the workforce as high powered executives, as is men. But what we can learn from Terry is that we're all striving to make our organizational cultures as lucrative as possible, whether they be in municipalities, whether they be in corporate America, whether they be in civic educational institutions. We need to have strong, authentic leaders. Go back and review some of the podcasts that I already have on this website. Many wonderful people, like Commissioner William Gross, has been in my podcast. That is William Gross of the Boston Police Department. I also have Sullivan Tire, and I want you to know that um, interviewing many of these individuals who have come forward and talked about their business interests as leaders are amazing. Looking at Stephen Karavanis, I'm not sure I'm pronouncing his name correctly, but the conductor of the Plymouth Philharmonic Orchestra has showed how all the instruments come together to make incredible music. And I think leadership is very much like that. The conductor doesn't have to be an expert in every single instrument, but he knows how to be an expert in making all those instruments work hard and come together to produce beautiful music. These are some of the wonderful things that I have learned from my podcast and our fantastic host, Jordan Rich, WBZ radio fame, and the head of Chart Productions. I should say one of the partners in Chart Productions, where he teaches individuals how to put their best foot forward in communication. And communication is everything about leadership. If we don't communicate properly, if we're not transparent and honest with each other, we can't be good communicators. Remember, information doesn't always flow from the top down, but from the bottom up. And having over 35 plus years of experience as a teacher and as a trainer in communication and leadership, I find what's most intriguing is every one of us are as different as our DNAs, even identical twins. We all have strengths, we all have weaknesses, but most of all, we have something to offer. And I believe in the leadership gene. That's one of the books that I wrote, that everyone has within them some propensity to lead if they're put in the right environment. Subordinates can train to be leaders. This is how we build legacies. Looking at organizations that have lasted over 100 years, how did they keep up with all of this? What type of leadership did they have? What type of training do our leaders need today? We have team building. Team building is so important, especially building virtual teams that are global. Even if we have a domestic company, our interests are global because we get our materials sometimes from overseas. We do a lot of our labor overseas, and we trust in our allies and business partners to help us build a holistic, strong, and competitive culture. So if you're looking for some real good training, if you're looking for some real good podcasts, these newsletters can get you involved in some really good blogs. And I'd like to hear from you. And I'd like you to subscribe, tell your neighbors about what I do. My trusted friend and colleague for over 25 years, Ken Strong, who has started this wonderful webmaster, web post, web entrepreneurship with me, has decided to continue to contribute, but he has some priorities and has moved on to other wonderful things. But we can learn so much from what he has contributed and will continue to contribute. I want to thank you for your interest. I want to look forward to supporting you and maybe even be able to come in and do some training and talk about my books. And I want you to know that I'm working on another book, and that's coming down the road. And it's another book on leadership, but it talks about authenticity, transparency, motivating people. And I'm thinking of co-authoring this book with someone I've already interviewed. And that's a surprise that's to come. Have a wonderful, wonderful new year. I look forward to working with you, talking with you, blogging with you, and let's hit hard this new millennium. John the Chief.